Right now, while you are reading your electric bill in July, there is a space above your head, the attic, running at 140 degrees Fahrenheit, cooking your ceiling, cooking your insulation, and forcing your air conditioner to run hours longer than it should. $4 in plain cotton muslin, installed in under an hour along your attic ridgeline, drops that heat load by 15 to 20 degrees and cuts your cooling bill by up to 30%. No machine, no contractor. The Amish have been doing this for 200 years, and the people who sell you air conditioning have never had a reason to tell you that $4 is the actual material cost. 4 yards of unbleached cotton muslin at roughly $1 a yard, enough to cover the ridgeline inside a 1,600 square foot attic. I have installed it myself. I have measured the difference with a thermometer taped to the underside of roof sheathing at 2 in the afternoon in August. And I have stood in Amish farmhouses in Holmes County, Ohio, where this technique has been standard practice for 4 generations, where upstairs bedrooms sit cooler than my air-conditioned house ever managed. The building science behind it is documented in university extension archives going back to the 1940s. Papers that sat in boxes for decades, while you and I handed the power company $240 a month to fight a problem that a fabric store could have solved for the price of a coffee. The reason nobody told you is the same reason nobody ever tells you. The people who profit when your attic cooks your house are the same people who write the guidelines for how attics should be built. Your roof right now is absorbing solar radiation. The dark shingles pull it in, the plywood deck stores it, and that energy radiates downward as heat, straight through your attic, through your ceiling, into the rooms where your family sleeps. A properly functioning attic is supposed to be a sacrificial buffer, a layer of air that takes the punishment of the sun so the rooms below stay livable. That's how every farmhouse in America worked for 200 years. But starting in the 1960s, American builders sealed that buffer shut. They stuffed the cheapest insulation they could find against the rafters, caulked the gable vents, sprayed foam into every crack, and turned your attic from a breathing buffer into a heat battery. Then they sold you a bigger air conditioner to compensate. The average American household spends roughly $900 a year on pure cooling costs. Over 30 years in the same house, that is $27,000. The building code committees of the 1960s and 1970s made a precise decision. They reclassified the cupola, the louvered ventilation tower that had crowned American farmhouses since the 1700s, as an ornamental feature rather than a functional one. One word in a building standard: ornamental. That single reclassification meant new residential construction no longer required a high exhaust ventilation point at the roof peak. The shingle manufacturers profited too, because a sealed attic cooks shingles from the underside. The asphalt softens, the granules loosen, and what should have been a 30-year roof becomes a 15-year roof. You replace your roof twice as often as your grandfather did. Not because the shingles got worse, because the attic got hotter. And nobody in a glass office tower had any reason to fix that. I have read the warranty fine print from the major roofing manufacturers. The language that appears most consistently, in bold, across multiple brands, prohibits inadequate ventilation, not excess ventilation. Inadequate. Because the manufacturers know exactly what a hot attic does to their product. They do not tell you that the building codes that sealed your attic created the exact inadequate ventilation condition their warranties warn against. The Foxes wrote the rules for the henhouse, and when the shingles fail early, they will sell you new ones. But in Holmes County, Ohio, and across Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, the Amish never stopped building with cupolas. Not because they are sentimental about old architecture, because they never had electric air conditioning to fall back on. Every single building decision in an Amish farmhouse has to actually work in real heat with no machine to bail it out. They kept the cupola because the cupola keeps the house cool. They kept the gable vents open because moving air is the only thing that prevents a wood structure from becoming a thermal battery. They did not preserve this knowledge because they are smarter than the rest of us. They preserved it because they refused to let an outside industry tell them how to build their own homes. And what they use is not complicated. What it does will change how you understand every utility bill you have ever paid. The system is called the stack effect. Engineers call it buoyancy-driven ventilation. The Amish just call it building a house right. Hot air rises. It always rises. In a sealed attic, that rising air has nowhere to go, so it presses down through your ceiling all day and all night. In an Amish farmhouse, the cupola at the peak of the roof gives that hot air a chimney. The hottest air climbs to the top of the shaft, exits through the louvers, and pulls cooler replacement air in from the lower windows and gable vents. The physics are not subtle. They are the same physics that make a fireplace draw, the same physics that make a chimney work. The difference is that the Amish applied those physics to the entire house, not just the hearth. Once you understand how completely this was engineered out of American construction, the rest of the story is going to make you angry. These are not my numbers. Natural ventilation through properly designed stack effect systems has been documented to reduce energy costs by up to 30%. That figure comes from published building science research going back to studies conducted at the U.S. Forest Products Laboratory in the late 1930s and confirmed across multiple agricultural extension programs throughout the 1940s. A researcher named Tyler Rogers introduced the formal framework for attic ventilation and condensation control in the Architecture Press in 1938, drawing on work done at the University of Minnesota. That framework acknowledged passive exhaust ventilation as the primary mechanism for attic heat management. It acknowledged it in 1938. The building industry quietly set it aside 40 years later. On a 95-degree day, a properly ventilated attic with a functioning high exhaust point may reach 105 to 110 degrees Fahrenheit instead of 140 degrees Fahrenheit. That's a 30 to 35 degree difference bearing down on your ceiling all day. Your air conditioner runs 2 to 4 fewer hours. Your shingles last a decade longer. Your bedroom actually cools down at night, instead of radiating stored heat until 3 in the morning. And this was all written down, clearly, with diagrams and field measurements, in publications that vanished from standard building guides sometime between 1960 and 1975, right around the time central air conditioning became a standard residential sales item. Now, here is where the $4 comes in, and this is the part that took me the longest to find. Inside Amish attics in Holmes County, where the rafters meet the ridge beam, they nail strips of untreated cotton muslin across the underside of the roof boards. Plain cotton, the same kind you can buy at any fabric store for about $1 a yard. 4 yards covers the ridge line of a 1,600 square foot home. The muslin does something most people do not understand the first time they see it. It absorbs a small amount of moisture from the night air. During the day, as the roof deck heats up to 150 or 160 degrees, the cotton releases that moisture as a slow, evaporative cooling layer right at the source of the heat. It is the same principle as a wet bandana on the back of your neck, applied to the hottest surface in your house. Nobody patented it. Nobody sold it. It cannot be patented. It is a natural material performing a physical function that predates the patent system by centuries. So, nobody profits from telling you about it. I tested this myself last summer in a 1,500 square foot ranch house in Indiana. I hung 4 yards of muslin at the ridge, cleaned both gable vents that had been painted shut for a decade, and opened the lowest windows on the shaded side at sunset. By morning, the interior had dropped 8 degrees without the air conditioner running once. I put my hand on the underside of the roof sheathing at 2 in the afternoon before I installed the muslin. The wood was hot enough that I could not hold my palm flat against it for more than 3 seconds. I checked the same board 7 days after installation. I held my hand there for 30 seconds. That difference is not subtle. That is 30 to 35 degrees of radiant heat that your ceiling joists are no longer absorbing and pushing down into your living room. I spent $4 on fabric and $3 on replacement aluminum mesh for the gable screens. $7 total. I had been paying nearly $200 a month every summer to cool that house for 19 years. Not because I cannot afford it, because I think about every other homeowner in this country running that same air conditioner right now, this minute, paying that same bill with a sealed attic above their head that nobody ever told them to open. Here is the honesty. This is not a magic fix. A muslin strip and clean gable vents will not turn your attic into a walk-in cooler. Stack effect ventilation cannot cool your attic below the outdoor ambient temperature. On a 98-degree day, the best passive system in the world still gives you a 98-degree attic at minimum, not 68. It does not control humidity on its own. Central areas of very wide buildings will not see the same benefit as a narrow farmhouse with clear air paths from intake to exhaust. If your house has low ceilings and no real vertical air path, the effect is reduced. This system reduces heat load. It does not eliminate the need for cooling in extreme climates. But reducing heat load by 30% means your air conditioner runs 30% less. And 30% of $900 a year, every year, for the rest of the time you own that house, is real money. The minimum ventilation standard in residential building code today requires 1 square foot of net free vent area for every 300 square feet of attic floor. That is the floor, not the ceiling. You can exceed that ratio significantly without violating a single thing. And restoring ventilation that a previous owner sealed with foam does not void any roofing warranty I have ever read. It protects the warranty because the manufacturers prohibit inadequate ventilation, and that is exactly what a foam-sealed gable vent creates. Now, if you are already thinking this only applies to people building from scratch, stay with me because this next part is specifically for existing homes. You do not need a cupola. You need to understand what a cupola actually does and then replicate it with what you already have. A cupola does 2 things. It exhausts the hottest air at the highest point, and it creates a low-pressure zone that pulls cooler air in from below. You can do both of those things in a house built in 1962 without cutting a single new hole in your roof. A man outside Sugar Creek, Ohio, about 20 miles from the Holmes County line, cleared both his gable vents, hung muslin at the ridge exactly the way the Amish carpenters in his area described, and opened his basement windows on summer evenings to let the stack draw cool below-grade air through the house. His first July electric bill after the change dropped from $186 to $129. He tracked it for 3 summers. The average monthly savings held steady at $51 from June through September. 3 summers, same house, same family, same thermostat setting. The only variable was whether the attic could breathe. He told me he had an energy auditor come through the house 2 years before and recommend sealing the gable vents to reduce air infiltration. He sealed them. His bills went up the following summer. He thought it was a hot year. It was not. It was a sealed attic turning into a heat battery above his head, exactly the way the building industry designed it to. This is not theory. This is documented. Here is what you need. 4 yards of untreated cotton muslin, about $1 a yard at any fabric store. 1 roll of aluminum mesh screen, about $3 at any hardware store. A flashlight, a staple gun, and 40 minutes on a cool morning. Go into your attic and find your gable vents, the triangular openings on the short ends near the peak. Look at them from the inside with your flashlight. If you can see daylight clearly, they're working. If you see paint, insulation, foam, rust, or a bird nest, you've found the reason your house runs hot in summer. Clear the obstruction. Staple new aluminum mesh across the opening if the old screen has failed. Then run your muslin strips from rafter to rafter along the underside of the peak, stapled every 12 inches, with about an inch of slack to allow for moisture absorption. Leave both ends open to allow airflow through the fabric. That's it. No cutting, no roofing work, no permits. The first time you go up there in late October and feel the difference in how your house held its temperature through August, you'll understand why an Amish carpenter 4 generations back figured this was worth passing down to his children. The stack effect doesn't care about building codes. It doesn't care about HVAC committees. It doesn't care about quarterly earnings reports. It cared about physics in the 1800s when families carried this knowledge across the Atlantic and built it into every farmhouse they raised on this soil. It cares about physics tonight, in the dead air above your ceiling, in the sealed attic that someone told you was finished and efficient and fine. The air has always wanted to move. You just have to stop paying people to trap it. Go up into your attic this weekend with a flashlight. Look at your gable vents from the inside and drop your state and your house's build year in the comments. Then tell me one thing: open, blocked, or sealed completely. If you believe real knowledge has been quietly pushed aside to protect someone else's profit, you already know what to do.